What's up, spooky friends? Today, we're getting really close to Halloween. I'm recording this, I think, what is it, the 22nd or something? Time is a flat circle. I don't know what days are anymore, but wanted to talk to you about a couple of new things that I've seen. Actually, both of them kind of brand new and available on streaming. Um, Both, pretty good in their well, one really exceptional, but the other, fine for what it is. So I'll start with the one that I saw a couple weeks ago. It's called Amulet. This is a horror movie that really stayed with me. It's a horror movie that is a slow burn, and really has to it's one that you really have to be patient with and working through. The basic premise feels very haunted house. You get a guy coming in to a house where someone is theoretically taking care of an elderly mother that lives upstairs. But something's wrong, something's up, it feels weird. This man starts to develop a relationship with the woman that's taking care of the elderly person. But then there's more stuff that he learns about this woman that's being taken care of. He learns more about the woman who's taking care of her. And then, in a way that is both frustrating and also kind of clever, there's a weaving in backstory of some events that happen in this man's life, his relationship to his mother, his relationship to another woman. And it does a really good job of kind of lulling you into a false sense of security and developing relationships with all the characters that are there, and then like in the last 20 minutes, just completely stabbing you in the eye. In some ways, it's a lot like Insidious in reverse. Insidious has all these really clever, heart-stopping moments in the first, 58 minutes of it, and then the last 20 are just an abysmal train wreck of boring frustratingness. This goes the other way. Like you're frustrated, you're bored, you don't know where it's going, you're not particularly rooting for anyone, then you start to develop things. Anyway, it turns on a dime, and my friend Miranda and I were watching this, and the last 15 or 20 minutes, when it sort of ramps up, we found ourselves standing next to the television. That's how that's how excited and nervous we were about what was going on. And it's just a breakneck thing, and the reveal is really good. There are like 3 or 4 reveals that happen. Boom, 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 boom. It's a completely satisfying ending. It's just whip smart. I really enjoyed watching this movie. Got a lot out of it. I can't really recommend it enough. I will say, you're gonna start watching this and you're gonna be like, what the hell is he talking about? This is a really slow thing. I can't really hang on. I'm gonna check my phone. It's all fine. It's all fine. There's nothing that's happening during that part that you really have to pay attention to. You really have to sort of sharpen your perspective and remember things. It's not a mystery like that. But man, it's a good movie. Horror in the way that I like, which is spooky, atmospheric, slowly burning, and then just fireworks popping all over the place. So that's Amulet. Go check it out. It is a rental, like it's not streaming for free on any of your services. Totally worth a rental. I think we spent $4 on it, and I would spend twice that. It was one of the better horror movies I've seen this year. Well, it's one of the better horror movies I've seen in recent memory. Second one that I'm going to tell you about is streaming on Shudder. Just came out last week. It's called the Mortuary Collection. And listen, I usually really dig anthology horror movies, which is exactly what this is. Such as VHS and VHS 2 and the ABCs of Death. I will say that, anthology movies kind of break for me depending on, is it a unified, director that's doing them all? Are they bringing in different voices? Are they doing different things? I'm not actually quite sure what Mortuary Collection is, although it feels pretty unified to me. And the problem with anthology movies is the sum has to be greater than its parts, right? That it has to be working towards something overarching instead of just a whole bunch of shit that's thrown together. And that's how they work for me or don't. I mean, it's why VHS is so terrifying to me, because it's not just the little pieces, it's all of it together really is haunting. Mortuary Collection knows what it is. It's not VHS. It's not an anthology thriller. It's not something that's going to stay with you forever. It's more an anthology in the veins of sort of those old school horror comics that Tales from the Crypt is based on, or Creepy Tales, or whatever. That is very lurid, over the top, body horror, gross out, and but self-aware, winky, tongue-in-cheek. There's still a couple things. So here's the framing device. There's a funeral home. It's advertising help wanted. A woman comes in wanting to fill the position, talking to the funeral director and asking him to tell her the stories of some of the people who have died that he's embalmed or whatever. And there are 4 stories, 3 of which he tells, and then she tells the final one. And they kind of start small and then move into the more grotesque and ridiculous. And I'm not a huge fan of horror comedy. At least one of them I would classify as a horror comedy, but all of them really have that creep show aesthetic of like comic book horror. I mean, only done better by the Creep Show movie, and then the reboot by Shudder. That's the series. So, but I will say, because it sounds like I'm really kind of being down on it, I will say that what it gets to in that 4th story, and then kind of where it goes after that, as a summary of what it's doing, I really enjoyed and thought it was really worth it at that point, even though a couple of the things that I sat through were not my cup of tea. And again, it's on Shudder. If you've got Shudder, which if you don't, why don't you have Shudder? What are you doing with your life? It's free, and it's especially in the holiday, getting close to Halloween. It's one of those things you can have on the background. Just turn all the lights off, have some orange lights glowing, and watch it. And you don't have to pay a lot of attention. And there are going to be certain things where you're just going to think it's stupid, and certain things that you're going to think are gross. But I do think that by the end, you're going to think that it was smart enough to be worth your time. So a recommendation, maybe a bit smaller, a recommendation than Amulet, which I think is a good movie in the vein of sort of Rosemary's Baby, Babadook kind of movie. Mortuary Collection is certainly more, Creep Show, Fright Night, whatever you want to say. But that's my recommendations. I know Halloween's coming up. It's the most wonderful time of year. I hope you guys are getting ready to go. Well, I guess can't go anywhere, but to be spooky and to eat a lot of candy. Miss you guys a lot. Think about you all the time. Hope you're staying safe. Drop me a line. Hit me up anytime. Stay scary. Bye.